Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for taking time away from your busy schedule and joining us today. It's a beautiful day here in New York City, and we're ready to get started. Today, we'll be discussing two very hot topics in the financial services and marketing technology industry. We believe open banking and customer data platforms, also known as CDPs, are leading a new era for FinServe marketers, brands, and consumers. But before we get started, let me introduce myself, one of our innovative clients, and our special guests. My name is Pedro Rego. I am one of the founders and the chief marketing technologist here at Foresight One. At Foresight One, we bring together marketers and innovative marketing technologies, making it easily accessible and profitable for brands. Today, I will be your webinar host and moderator. And since our topic is about FinServe innovation, I'll be introducing how Lemnisk, one of our clients and the world's first AI-powered customer data platform for financial service marketers, can be leveraged to support open banking projects. In today's webinar, we'll be discussing a variety of topics that are deeply connected to open banking. Our first guest today is Pedro Burrata. Pedro is an executive in digital strategy. He currently works at Itaú, one of the largest banks in Latin America. Prior to that, Pedro worked as a management consultant in Brazil and Australia. He has an engineering background and holds an MBA from Columbia Business School. And our second guest is Alan Saracen. Alan is the VP of Financial Service Practice at SoftRoad. He's responsible for marketing, sales, and new service development for the firm's banking, insurance, and investment service clients. Alan has been with SoftRoad for over 13 years and previously held senior-level positions in sales, professional service, support, and consulting roles at a variety of technology companies. Today, Alan will be talking about current market trends in open banking and highlighting some of the challenges and implementation factors that banks need to consider in their journey to open banking. Thank you, Pedro and Alan, for joining us today. And with that said, I will handle the microphone to Pedro Burrata, who is currently in São Paulo, Brazil, and will be discussing digital strategy and open banking.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'll be talking about digital strategy in the financial services space. Just some background, I did my MBA at Columbia Business School, where I focused a lot on financial services and technology, and I currently have a role at Itaú working with digital strategy. So before I start, just a quick disclaimer. Today I'll be talking about my views on the market, and they are not by any means Itaú's positions or views. Think globally, act locally. I know this is a cliche, but it's extremely important to start with this view when you're talking about FinServe these days. A lot of people just try to copy whatever technology or new solution is popping up everywhere in the world. Let's say about what WeChat's doing, what Ant Financial is doing, what Paytm is doing. But they forget to understand the local market. My favorite example in this area is M-Pesa in Kenya. Basically, they saw that the population had no smartphones or no access to current bank branches, but had access to SMS. So, integrating with the mobile carrier, they consolidated the market. Today, let's focus on the digital client, the one who is connected to several people and companies over his phone. You just have to assume he's more demanding. He's used it, for instance, to buying on Amazon and doing all his transactions without having to interact a lot with a human being. And on top of that, seeing better services improving over and over again. In this context, it doesn't matter if you're a bank, if you're a retailer, if you're a fintech, you just have to keep up with your clients' expectations. In this scenario, the first thing companies need to do is to develop an agile culture. But how do you do that? For me, the most important is to have your principles well aligned. A lot of people tend to focus excessively on organizational structures, thinking that if they just organize everyone in squads, hire an agile master or a scrum master, things will work out. But it's not that simple. I strongly believe in having your principles clear. For instance, are you willing to do experimentations? Are you willing to take risks? Are you willing to really listen to your client and adjust your product to that? For me, what I find beautiful about the agile culture is the ability that you give the organization to remove the silos between departments, and that requires strong leadership. Now, what happens when you start to remove the silos between your bank and other companies? This is what I call the ecosystems. It's when you partner with a retailer, it's when you issue a credit card from an airline. It has been there for a while, but it's definitely getting stronger now. So, what changes to the client? Well, he will be expecting to be able to manage all his financial information in just one single place. That seems extremely useful for a person who has multiple accounts and more than one credit card. But you can go even further. Imagine that you have a transaction from Walmart and you want to drill down all the items that you bought. The improved customer experience is clear. But what's new for the bank? There are two main points. First, data. Second, context. More data means that what you knew about the client might change. You can build better credit models. You can even communicate with the client in a different way. The point is that not only you will be able to do that, but also your competitors. And more specifically, competitors that are currently not in the financial services industry. When you talk about context, it means that the client might be able to have access to different financial products and services on sites that are not necessarily related to banking. In summary, that's what's happening when you talk about open banking. I believe we'll have very interesting years coming ahead.
Thank you, Pedro. I'm going to take advantage that you were talking about what's next and the value of data and ecosystems to introduce how and why a customer data platform like Lemnis can support big data, support open banking, and become the foundation for the development of these ecosystems. When thinking about open banking, we should think about building relationships with partners to support innovative use cases. But most importantly, we should think about building better relationships with our clients. A FinServe customer data platform allows you to do just that. Build better relationships. In today's digital world, the only way you can achieve that is via curated data and privacy. The foundation of a CDP lies in the identity management and governance, as you can see here in the lower part of our diagram. Creating a single customer view by aggregating, transforming, and curating data from multiple online and offline systems, including first, second, and third-party data, allows you as a FinServe brand and marketer to deeply understand your customers' wants, needs, and preferences across channels. Through the use of a data and trigger APIs, you can build ecosystems like Pedro Barata was talking about earlier today. You will now have the power to deploy open banking capabilities in your online banking system or mobile app. Now, if you think about it, a big part of open banking is for your clients to adopt these new capabilities within your systems and apps. And just to make it clear, when I'm talking about capabilities, I'm talking about the resources, the rewards, the discounts, and other types of benefits you'll be able to offer your customer base and segments as a marketer. Open banking capability adoption from a digital customer experience standpoint relies on rich data profiles and hyper-personalization. Being able to target the right client at the right time with personalized messages in your online banking systems and other touchpoints is critical for you to drive the conversion rates in your open banking ecosystem and your properties. A CDP, such as Lemnisk, supports your open banking projects because it supports your digital strategy, your data governance, as well as the ability to use that data together with artificial intelligence to build and manage relationships at scale. But in order to get there, being able to deploy an open banking ecosystem or marketplace inside your FinServe property, you have to think strategically. I believe there are 3 pillars to open banking. It comes down to data, the customer data platform, and relationships. The data, because we recognize that the value of data today is beyond transactional. The CDP, because it allows you to create a rich profile about your customers and audience, as well as better understand them. And relationships, because as a financial services brand, for you to survive in the upcoming years, you must become an added value platform instead of a transactional-based system. I'm going to say this again. You must focus on becoming an added value platform instead of a transactional-based system if you want to survive 5 years from now. It's also important to think about a phased approach. First, think about the projected business value if you integrate your data sources. How is your marketing going to improve? What about your revenue? Second, by creating a single customer view and deploying a CDP, you can drive digital transformation and open banking initiatives. You need to understand your customers to better serve them. And third, drive hyper-personalization at scale so your customers can become more loyal to your brand and you can build stronger relationships at scale. In terms of API maturity, you have to think about a phased approach to avoid potential pitfalls. Start with private APIs, move your way up to partner access APIs, and ultimately to public APIs. Your objectives and strategy should be crystal clear. Your phase 1 strategy might be to drive digitalization and better internal collaboration in terms of data and processes. Your goal might be to create a single customer view and support your customer data platform, as well as other third-party application capabilities. In phase 2, you already have a single customer view, so you'll be able to better understand your customers' behavior and preferences. That might give you data insights that will eventually lead you to start developing partnerships that are synergetic to your audience's profile. At this stage, focus on an MVP with a specific partner and move your way up to build a partner portfolio that is integrated with your platform. In phase 3, you'll be opening the door to the public, and it's critical that you understand all the nuances of what data and events you'll be exposing to third-party developers using your open API. Security is key, but especially at this stage. I truly believe that customer data platforms and open banking are the key for FinServe institutions to develop better relationships with their clients. From a personal banking perspective, think about all the use cases you can deploy as a brand. Rewards and discounts are being offered by big banks, and it's a great way to drive loyalty. But what innovative resources you can present to your client? What if you made agreements with fintech companies and third-party developers? The same approach is also applicable for business accounts. How could you further develop the relationship with your business clients if you partner with synergetic companies? How could you benefit from exchanging data while giving your customers the ability to manage their privacy and being able to also benefit from these partner agreements? Before I pass the microphone to Alan, I just want to say that Lemnisk has your best interest when it comes to privacy and regulations. By implementing their customer data platform, your bank is able to have the necessary tools to become GDPR compliant. They also give you and your clients the ability to manage communication preference and be prepared for the soon-to-come California Consumer Privacy Act, which is going to become effective in California on January 1st, 2020. Alan, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you, Pedro, and thank you attendees for listening into the webinar today. I'm Alan Saracen from SoftWorld, where I manage our financial services practice. Our clients are banks, insurance companies, investment services firms, as well as the ecosystem of independent software vendors, fintechs, and consultancies that support these markets. SoftWorld has been in the IT services business for 25 years. We provide implementation and staff augmentation to assist our customers in meeting project objectives, especially when they lack capacity or specific technology capabilities. Our skills include application development, program and project management, business analysis, and systems and infrastructure integration engineers. The entry to these systems is generally through the bank portal, laptop, computer, and increasingly web and mobile, so banks can show value add and maintain control of their customers. Some fintechs are providing direct access to their apps and leverage the bank-provided APIs. The current capabilities today are varied. Larger institutions are further along, and the smaller banks are still evaluating. Pressure from independent companies looking to interface with bank customer data runs the risk of disintermediating the bank from potential revenue opportunities, so bank efforts to protect these revenue streams will increase. Just to spend a few minutes at my conclusion here, obviously data security is of incredible importance. You're now working with open APIs and third-party partners, and a huge number of financial institutions and third-party vendors will be sharing this customer information. There's a need for more sophisticated fraud and risk management tools that can provide immediate threat detection and very short-term reaction and resolution of the threats. Much of the focus has been on security inside your firewall, and now that's going to be extended outside. So to summarize, open banking will offer customers increased convenience and services, and banks will expand the products and services they offer. But banks must be able to respond to and detect the threats from these open APIs, made increasingly complicated by the huge number of financial services systems and parties involved in sharing the information. As financial services firms execute their digital transformation, they must implement more sophisticated tools that can handle these security concerns. Thank you. I'll toss it back to Pedro to handle the questions and answers.
Thank you, Alan. Let me check the questions here. Looks like we have a question. From a digital strategy standpoint, how do you think banks should start with open banking? Pedro Barata, what do you think about this question? How do you think banks should start with open banking?
That's a very interesting question. I don't think that banks should, out of nowhere, just start thinking about open banking. I believe that they should just understand all the new possibilities and also risks that it poses to their businesses. What becomes more urgent now in designing today's strategy is to define time to market and scalability of your technology.
Looks like this was the only question today. We would like to say thank you for all attendees and our guest speakers, Alan Saracen from SoftWorld and Pedro Barata, as well as Lemnisk, the AI-driven FinServe customer data platform. I hope you all enjoyed this Foresight One webinar. My name is Pedro Rego. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us an email to Pedro, that's Pedro, at foresight1.com. Once again, thank you very much for participating and have a great rest of your day.